Hey everybody, it's Malia Scott, and I am back with another video talking about when I became physically homeless. Well, I was homeless 2 times in my life, physically, and the reason why I go heavy on the word physically because, later on I'll do a few other videos about the other ways I was homeless, like, mentally, emotionally, stuff like that. But for now, just physically. So, like I said, I was homeless 2 times. And the first time I became homeless, I was, I believe I was 19 or 20. I think it was it was really 19. But I went kind of back and forth in between family, blah, 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 until I really was in the shelter. I went back and forth for probably a few months, 8 months or something. And after I left my mother's house because, I don't know, I was before all of that happened, I was doing really well. I was in school. I was in a secondary school and high school, and it was June. I remember, I can't forget the day. It was June 10th. I forget the year. It had to be 2008 or something like that. And 2008 June 10th, I believe. And I was doing good. I had passed all my classes the last semester. I was working at this place called Daffy's down in 34th Street. It's a clothing store similar to Saks, but less expensive. And I was doing really well. I remember I was outside and hanging out outside. I was 19. I was hanging out outside and with friends at the time. And we was all outside, getting wet, having fun, just enjoying life. And then, remember, my mother had me out of spite. So she, by all means, she did not want me to be happy. She just had to figure out how she was going to ruin my life even more. And so, I was walking down the block, and my mother's friend, Dawn, came up to me and said, Malia, your mother want to talk to you about something, and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, about what? It's the summertime, we having fun, I'm outside chilling. What does she want? And so I went over there to go see what she wanted. And, of course, she was talking about stupid stuff, just random, leaving the top off the soda, some stupid shit that. I just was when fucking bitches don't have a life, they just fuck with yours. And that's something I had to learn to control, because I don't want to be that way. That's not who I am. But when you're around people that don't have no life, and people that has no dreams for the future and stuff like that, they just fuck with your future. It's sad, but that's what happened to me. And so I went there, and so it was a huge argument, whatever, fight. I beat my mother up, and then she called the cops. And of course, the cops is just as dumb as she was, and I was, and everybody that I pretty much ever knew, respectfully, but it's the truth. And they came and arrested me because I didn't really know how to defend myself, because I didn't even know what the fuck happened. I was just why am I going through this? I'm a good person. Why am I going through this? And so I got arrested, whatever like that. And so then my aunt Nisi wanted to it was Malia, you could come stay with me, or whatever the case may be. And then once I went to go stay with her, my cousin Jordan had gave up his room. And I was just so happy. I thought about it. I was after a while, especially now, being older and smarter, I think about wow, my cousin gave up his room. That was so sweet of him and nice and stuff like that. But I was sad and stuff, because it was changed for me and from what I was used to, clearly, and I just, you know, when I went there, my mother started stalking me and stuff like that. I don't know what it was. Like, I just was like, she was like sending me like birthday cards and tried to give me a phone and all this stuff like that. I'm like, this bitch is a psychopath. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to fuck with this shit. It sucks. And it's just weird with my life. It's like psychopath after psychopath after psychopath. I keep meeting. It's like I don't understand it, but whatever. You know, and I'm like, what they say you attract what you are, or whatever like that. I'm like, well, that's not who Malia Scott is. Malia Scott is not a psychopath, you know. I mean, I was raised by one. So I guess I have to like just break all those chains and stuff like that. So that's all it is. You just got to pray and break all those chains. So I don't believe that it cannot be broken. I believe it can, actually. So I'm not worried about it. If I was like taught to be a psychopath, like I can just keep on praying it away and praying it out of me and praying and just breaking chains and keeping that going and stuff like that. So anyway, so she was stalking me and stuff, and I'm like, what is wrong with her? Why she can't leave me alone? And I'm like just demented, like just evil spirits is in her. Like, why you don't just leave me alone? You don't want nothing to do with me. That's weird. Like, you know, I don't know. And so then like eventually, like I know my cousin, one of my cousin Danny and Monica, I guess they was talking and stuff like that. And I told you they're a pretty corrupt family, like, you know, evil and stuff like that, crazy, evil, stupid, whatever you want to call it. And, you know, not very smart. And I guess they didn't want me there, or Danny didn't want me living in his mother's house, I guess because of what my mother did and what she did to me and stuff, because all of them knew I was abused badly, severely. You know, they didn't care because their life was fucked up too, so they didn't give a shit. I noticed that's why a lot of people don't give a shit, because their life is fucked up too. So it's like, no one cares. And whatever. But yeah, so basically I was like, I don't know if Monica called me, I called her, or whatever. And I was talking to her, whatever like that, going back and forth. And all I said with her, the biggest thing that stood out was that I feel like I'm a burden on, you know, like Nisi and I'm like, I feel like I'm a burden. Because I knew that my cousin Jordan gave up his room. I know it was just inconvenience, you know what I'm saying? Like some shit that my mother caused just to make people suffer more. People do that has bad lives. That's why you have to stay away from people that have bad lives, because, you know, well, the whole thing with that is like, as far as me, I did have a bad life, but there are places that have no choice but to help you, you know, and so that's where I am going more now and getting more help, because they have to help you, you know. Like, it's different when you're a client or something like that, you know. It changes the game. Less personal, or not personal at all. That's better. It works better for people. And so like, you know, I was just telling Monica, my cousin, that my older cousin, that I was like, I feel like a burden. It was nothing bad. I said that I felt like a burden. It had nothing I was not disrespecting anyone. I was not hurting anyone. But when you're dealing with evil people, just people that have bad out for you, or just evil, or just miserable in their own life, you know, nothing good is going to come out of that. I didn't know who I was talking to at the time. I didn't know I was talking to just an evil person. I thought it was somebody safe, you know, just like my whole life. I thought I was around safe people my whole life, but I never was. And that's just something I'm still dealing with in my life. It's not easy. And that's why it's important for me to go viral, because, you know, my story needs to be told and what I've been through, and because I know I can help people, you know. I'm coping, and I will share those videos of how I cope, and basically what I'm doing now, you know, to better my life, better my future, and I'll also eventually help others once I fully help myself. So yeah, Monica went back and told Danny some lies or whatever. Maybe they was into cahoots together or whatever like that, which I'm sure they was. I'm sure of it now. That's why they all feel guilty, because of what they did. And so I guess Danny took me out to dinner or whatever like that, and he was talking about it and stuff, and I was like, he said that Monica said I said mean things. I'm like, mean things? And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. All I said was that I feel like I'm a burden in the house. That's it. Like, you know what I'm saying? And so they told Niecy that. Like, it was all together. Like, all just a bunch of evil people, miserable, evil people, which is why I don't want to be around them ever again in life. You know, God gonna have to work that out with me, you know, because, you know, it is what it is. So, and so basically, when I approached Niecy, I finally was able to talk to her. I didn't say nothing bad. I'm like, I'm not scared of nobody. Like, why would I would tell the truth if I said something bad. I'm not scared of anybody. So I don't know why is this an issue. So Niecy had a feeling. She know how disgusting our family is, as well as things she did. So she just, her guilt, you know, kept me there. And I just stayed there for a few more months, and I just waited till I got like my income tax check. I had got pregnant and everything, which was stupid, but you know, nobody helped me. I didn't know what I was doing. You know, what does a 20-year-old know, you know? So that's when I got pregnant, when I was 20. It was still 2008 in September. And so I just like kind of waited till I got my like income tax and stuff like that. That was around February, March or something like that. And I had just left and went to the shelter. And so being I was pregnant, I was able to go to PATH, stuff like that. So I just hopped from shelter to shelter, you know, different things like that. And for the time being. And then that's pretty much how I really officially became homeless. And just being around mad, bad people with a mental illness is not healthy. Like, my whole main goal in life is just to keep away from people that have like no life and focus on the people that can help me have a better one. So that's been my goal for years, and you know, every single day I'm getting better at reaching those goals. But it's not easy. You know, if it was, more people would be successful, and it would be less people in poverty. And but I'm fighting a good fight. I'm a fighter. So yeah, that's when it all started and stuff like that. And so I hopped from place to place and stuff like that. And then I went back to my mother's house for a little while or whatever. She felt guilty. It's like weird. And I guess it's that knowing that your blood thing, family thing, or whatever the case may be, stuck out. But little do I know I didn't want to be there either. I don't know. It's like when you don't have no place to go and you're homeless like that, like you just, it's like, do I want to die? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the point of living? It's so bad. You know, people are so terrible in this world these days. And this is who you got to be around. So it's like, why do I want to live again? So, but anyway, I try not to question it too much. I actually been chilling on that. And, so yeah, eventually I got a stable, shelter after like me and my mother fights and stuff like that. I actually went to ACS, and I didn't have an ACS case, but I went to ACS and to a water place. Oh yeah, I should see hashtag or at CPS, because I went there and I told them what was happening, and I'm like, me and my mother gonna kill each other. I need to get the fuck out. My baby was like 4 months old, and my firstborn, and they wrote me a letter. And when they wrote me a letter, the supervisor wrote me a letter, and when the supervisor wrote me a letter, I took it to the shelter because they kept rejecting me and stuff like that. And it's sad that they kept rejecting me, like, you know, even though I've been through jail, all this stuff. It was weird. And it's like, people, are you retarded? Like people, I be thinking the people with the degrees is retarded. Like, so like, it is what it is though. And then the shelter finally approved me to stay. So I finally got a stable place to live in the shelter, and I stayed there for like 1 year. And then I got my apartment in Harlem, New York. and well, Manhattan, New York, but Harlem, and after that, that's pretty much what happened. And then the second time I was homeless, the second time I was homeless, basically with my first apartment, I couldn't pay my rent. So I stayed there for 2 years and I couldn't pay my rent. And it was because of my mental state, my intelligent disabilities, and the retardation, all that stuff like that, the slowness, like everything. I couldn't keep a job. I didn't know anything. And so how could you keep a job and you're not smart about it? Like, you know what I'm saying? So because I suffered from that and didn't have help from that, I couldn't keep a job, and therefore I ended up losing the apartment. And then I went back in, and when I was in the shelter, then I was out. I was in the shelter for 3 years straight, and like 3 years straight, and in the course of that, because of the pressure of, because I already, like, when my son was like 10 or 11 months old, I gave him up to a foster agency because, and my brain triggered, like my spirit was telling me, I was like, I can't do this. I don't even have any money. I don't have nothing. I have no family. I have nothing. So I need to just give up my child. It's the right thing to do so that he won't suffer. But I couldn't handle it. And I ended up going back to the foster agency and getting back within like a week because I couldn't handle that shit. And then I'm like, I should have been smarter and just left him there because, what can a retarded mother do? Can't raise kids. And so, and I don't know, you just keep falling back and forth. You forget. You fall back and forth into ignorance, retardedness, and you just forget. You forget. It's sad as if you don't have a nobody around you or any guides. You just forget. And so I got him back. And then so like fast forward to 3 years. The first couple of, was it the first couple of months? I think it was, let me think, trying to think. It was 2006, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So, like, I think, if I'm mistaken, like, it was, like, probably maybe 2 or 3 months into becoming homeless again, I had called ACS on myself. And the ACS people came, and I told them that I can't take care of my son. And he was 4 at the time. I was like, I can't take care of him. And they just asked me a bunch of questions. They came at like 11 o'clock at night and at the shelter, and they was like, well, is he going to school? I'm like, yeah. They asked me a bunch of questions. Yeah. And they was like, you're doing all right. Just do this, do that. And here's this emergency system if you need a break or whatever like that. Here's this number. Blah, 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 blah. No help, as usual. And so I went out that night, and I had went out with a friend. We ended up getting into a fight. I brought my son, and the cops was called. And then, the cops had picked me up because I was drunk and I was with my son. I was so drunk and I was with my son. And I didn't even explain that I was just drinking in the house, and then things got crazy or whatever like that, And they just took my son, and they took my son and they took me to jail. So I just was like, in a sense, I was just like, it was like a relief because I'm like, I cannot take care of him. What is it gonna take? I need help to get my son in a better place, and I need help. And so that happened. So I ended up going to a single woman shelter, and I stayed there for like 2 years. And then I got my apartment at NYCHA, and that's basically what happened. And now I've been here for like to 8 years, and I'm still not happy here. But I had to do something. Like, I didn't have anything, and but my video is over 20 minutes long, so I like to keep them pretty short, and for now, and so I'm gonna end the video. But that was the story of basically, when I was physically, homeless. Just letting you know more about my life stories. Peace. Oh, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching.